Hey, Chestnut Street family, how you guys are doing today? Hey, I just want to wish you a great Sunday. Hope everything is going well for you this particular day. Hey, once again, I just want to appreciate so much. Tell you that I appreciate your support and everything. And thank you so much from people from Florida, my cousin Antoine and my aunt Carolyn, to people in Columbus, like Faith. There's so many different people around. People in Tennessee, like Angie. Just thank you so much for all the support that we're gathering. I think we're really picking up momentum. And hey, I just want to make sure we continue that momentum. So if you know anybody that's really looking to be encouraged, looking to just, with help on life, I see us as just a family, an online family, and just really trying to walk in unison into our greatness. So hey, if you will, and if you have not, please go ahead and hit subscribe at the bottom. It helps us continue to grow the channel and have a bigger platform. At the same time, when you like the videos, that also kind of helps us grow the platform as well. So hit subscribe and hit like. That helps us so much. Today, what I really want to focus on today is something that's really dear to my heart. For some of you who do not know, that I'm a licensed psychologist in the state of Ohio. And one of the things that I often come across, or one of the topics that I often come across, is when people have unmet expectations for themselves. And whenever I get to the root of that, sometimes I recognize that it's not that for some reason their life's off track, or they somehow have not been able to live up to their particular expectations. That oftentimes what it is that they have what I call a broken measuring stick. They're having a broken measuring stick. So that's what I want to talk about today. Broken measuring sticks. Broken measuring sticks essentially are when you're unable to really judge the process of your life effectively. Some people have overcome a number of different things and have done some great things in their life, but they still think that they haven't done anything in their life. They still think that they're behind their peers. They still think that somehow they haven't lived up to any of their expectations. I might be talking to you with this one. You might think that, hey, even though I barely made it through high school, I have my college degree, and you're still not happy with yourself. You might not have had your mother's with you or your father with you, but somehow you turn out to be a really great parent. And somehow you may have had some terrible relationship examples in your life, but somehow you have a really great marriage, or you have really great kids, and somehow that has happened, and you still think that somehow that you haven't lived up to the expectations for your life. And I just think that you have sometimes a broken measuring stick. I think to myself, like, what is it that you're using to measure the success of your life? And that's what I mean is broken. Because I've learned that we all have different things that we use to measure the success in our life. So today I want to talk about 5 things. I may give you a bonus at the end. But for 5 things I want to talk about that I believe it's a broken way of measuring the success in your life. And the first things I want to say is money. Money is the first thing that I think is really broken in measuring the success in your life. I think money is a bad thing, because it's sometimes that we can have people who have tremendous amount of success and they don't have any material wealth like money, but those that have a lot of money and we know that they really haven't done anything. Maybe they've inherited some things, or somehow they've kind of walked into a good situation, but the scenario is that they really haven't done a whole heck of a lot with their life. I know a lot of broke people that are more successful than people who are absolutely financially well off. I wish I had an amen up in here. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we just can't measure the success of a man or woman by how much is in their bank account. But our society has a really bad tendency to do that. That these people are really wealthy, so somehow they must be more valuable, they must be more successful, and I think that's a terrible indicator of how successful you are in your life by looking at your bank account. The best example I have in my life are 2 individuals My granddaddy and my grandmama, those are the two individuals that neither one of them were people who financially were really big. They never hit the lottery. They never had, really high paying jobs. Matter of fact, most of their lives, they straight by. They were born into a situation that they straight by, and they lived out a situation where they still straight by. And but yet those two individuals were highly successful people. They were able to give the people. They were able to be a part of people's lives. They brought people into our family that really wasn't born into our family or married into our family, but they brought them into the family because a lot of people needed family. They needed a place to stay. They needed a meal, and my grandfather and my grandmother did that for a tremendous amount of people. At one time in middle school, my grandfather seemed like he was a taxi cab with that blue truck for half of the people in West Tampa who needed a ride home. We would have dances on Friday nights, and most people couldn't go to the dances because they didn't have a ride home. And my grandfather would say, "It's fine, you guys go to the dance," and he'll pile them all up in his blue truck, and he would take everybody home. He was pretty much like a bus to many individuals. Matter of fact, to this day, there's probably a lot of people out there who remember my grandfather simply because he gave them a ride, or he was just really encouraging. But he didn't have a lot of money, so I think money is a terrible indicator of how successful your life is. The second is position. Position. Sometimes we can get positions at our jobs or different scenarios, maybe at church or anything that kind of says that, hey, I've made it. I've got to this position. Maybe I'm on this particular board, or maybe I'm the president of this particular club or something like that. But your position, somehow people use as an indicator that you have made it in life. And I think that's a terrible thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm a psychologist. I have 3 degrees. And I still don't consider my position as an indicator of me making it, because I know there's some people out there who have a doctorate that I think are just terrible people. I think there are people who really haven't been truly successful, even though academically they have accomplished a lot academically. But if we look at overall as a person, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were really great people and they achieved a tremendous amount of success. Because I don't think a degree indicates that for somehow that you have arrived. I don't think Mother Teresa had a doctorate, and who's going to argue that Mother Teresa wasn't a great person or she didn't achieve a lot of success in her life? So that's just one example that I would say that somehow a position, people who have given their lives to just helping the homeless, people who have given their life to helping underprivileged kids, people who have given their lives to show people how to be, missionaries and things of that nature. There's so many people out there that I believe that are awesome people, but yet they have very mediocre positions. It's a book out there called The Janitor. Great book, you should check it out. And they're talking about how effective you can be at any position in your life. And that's a great book. If you've never heard of it, it's called The Janitor. Check that book out. The third one is possessions. Possessions. Somehow we are a very, let me get all of my trinkets type of society. And that's going to be an indicator of how successful we are in life. Let me get a house and 3 cars and a boat and another house some other place and all these particular things. I'm going to get all of these things, and it's going to be an indicator that for somehow I've made it in life. I'm just clapping because I want to tell you, you've made it to the big suburban house. You've gotten the cars. You got 2, 3 cars in your driveway. You can only drive one of them, by the way. But you got 2 or 3 cars. You know what I mean? You got a boat. You got those high-priced golf clubs and everything that go with the high-priced watches, everything. Yep, you've made it. Doesn't mean that at all. That just simply means you just have a lot of stuff. That's all that means. You just have a lot of stuff. I saw a homeless man the other day going around. He had like 2 shopping carts pulling them, and he had this bag that was in between these 2 shopping carts, had all these cans that he had collecting, and he had a lot of stuff as well. You might think that you're more important because you have a lot of stuff, but you got a different stuff than he got. He has a lot of stuff, but his stuff is different than the kind of stuff that I have. Possessions only means that we just have possessions. Whether your possession is a lot of cans or your possession is a lot of houses and cars, does it simply mean that you have a lot of possessions? It's not an indicator of success. The 4th thing is emotions. Somehow we go off of our emotions. We may feel like if I feel successful, that means that I'm successful. We know that emotions are a terrible indicator because emotions will lie to us. Some of us have been successful for years and have never felt successful. Some of us have been successful for a very long time. You're great to your friends, great to your family. You give to the community. You care for those that are least of these in our society. You care about, paying your taxes and all the things of that nature that create really good, solid citizens. You abide by the law. You don't forget those that, once again, who are disenfranchised and all of that stuff. You're just an overall great person. But your emotions will tell you that you're nothing. It's a terrible indicator of success. The last thing I want to talk about, the 5th one, is going to be relationships. That's also a bad indicator of success, because somehow with relationships, when you talk about whether it's relationship with your kids, relationships with the neighbor, relationships with your church family or co-workers, or whatever it may be, relationships can be a bad indicator because you can have a lot of people around you and still haven't accomplished anything in your life. Relationships is one of those things. I would encourage you that to not let the relationship with your wife, the relationship with your kids or your parents, the relationship with your church family, the relationship with different people be a major indicator of whether or not you have succeeded. Some people think that, this person is a very successful person in the community and people like him, he has influence. So as long as I connect with this particular person, this particular couple, that means I've made it too. Doesn't mean that way. It's funny because sometimes I see this play out. I see these families sometimes on different sports teams that my kids is involved with, and I see that it's almost like high school because I see one mom in particular, right? It'll be the mom that she's the mom she's the pretty one. She's the one have all the clothes and all the rest of the stuff like that. And you see all these other little moms just kind of trickling around like little ducklings around this other person who's supposed to have all of the juice, trying to make sure that, that somehow if they get friends with her, then they're friends with, then they made it, right? I even saw them starting to dress like this lady. What I'm saying is relationships doesn't make us significant. I'm a broken person, and somebody being friends with me as another broken person doesn't necessarily mean that they've arrived. That just means that I'm a broken person connecting with another broken person, and we both don't make a whole. We just make 2 broken people. That has nothing to do with success. But relationships can help us become more successful, but it's not a sole indicator of whether or not we're successful or not. I'm going to give you a bonus, number 6. Number 6 is this. Another thing that's really broken and really trying to measure your success is the way you interpret information. Some people believe that they're successful because somebody has told them that they're successful. That's the only reason. Somebody else has told them, you have made it. You made it out this particular situation. Oh, you made it out of the projects. You made it out of Tampa, Florida. So absolutely, you're successful. Your daughters are great. You go to church and all the rest of this stuff. And because I'm telling you you're successful, then that makes it clear that absolutely you're successful. That only tells me that you giving me some feedback that most likely I like to hear because you're telling me positive stuff about myself. That doesn't indicate whether I'm successful. It's not like that. It's not that if 3 people tell you you're successful, then you automatically become successful. It's not it. So let me go over this again. Broken measuring sticks are in 6 different areas. The 6 is people telling you you're successful by the information you receive. That's a broken way of measuring your success. The 5th is relationships and being connected to people. That's a broken way of measuring that. The 4th is going to be through emotions. The 3rd is possessions. The 2nd is position. And the 1st is money. Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm gonna see you on Thursday. Make sure you hit subscribe and like on the videos. And remember, like I always try to remind you, I love you and you matter.
Chestnut Street.